There's so much misinformation regarding the mark of the beast. And if I'm honest, what drives me crazy about it is that it's only 3 verses in the whole Bible. It's 3 verses. And it's infuriating that people will make whole videos. They'll go on long Facebook rants. They'll make images to share on social media about this is the mark of the beast. It's happening right now. But they won't even read the 3 verses about it in Scripture. And they end up saying things and drawing conclusions that are so completely wrong. If they would just read the 3 verses, they wouldn't say those sorts of things. So please note what these 3 verses tell us. They tell us the mark has nothing to do with class warfare. It has nothing to do with the Illuminati or a global elite. What does it say? Because it says the mark is required of all, both small and great, rich and poor. So it's not some conspiracy by a global elite to control them. That's not what's going on. Everyone is required to take it. Secondly, these verses tell us that it bears the seal or symbol or name of the beast, and we'll find in a minute, or his number. Antichrist, it's his symbol, it's his name, it's his number. And what's implied is that everybody knows that. They know they're pledging allegiance to Antichrist. The logical parallel would be the pinch offering that we learned about back in chapters 2 and 3. The pinch offering that every citizen in the Roman Empire was required to offer at a local temple to Caesar once a year as a means to acknowledge that Caesar was God. That's the idea. Nobody made that pinch offering ignorantly or confused about its meaning. They all understood this pinch offering means I'm acknowledging Caesar as God. That's why Christians didn't do it. That's the idea with the mark of the beast. The text also tells us that taking the mark is irreversible. We just read that in Revelation 14. If you take the mark, it's over. There's no going back. Some suggest that this points to some type of genetic modification, which could be true. But I personally think it's a spiritual issue because if you've lived through the first half of the tribulation, you've seen the signs and wonders, you've seen and heard the angels' warnings, and you still choose to follow the beast, then you've reached the spiritual point of no return. If everything you've seen up to that point is still not enough for you, nothing will ever be enough for you. You're rejecting Jesus with your eyes wide open. The verses also tell us that the mark is physical. Physical, okay? It's an externally visible mark on or in your forehead and hand. So abstract statements like, well, Islam is the mark of the beast, don't make any sense in the context of the Bible. We can also tell here that the mark is not a number. We'll learn about that in a minute. It's not a number, it's his number, okay? And people know that it's his number. Since the 1980s, people have been freaking out over any identifying mark related to numbers. People freaked out about credit cards. They freaked out about being assigned social security numbers, you name it. But they all miss the fact that the Bible specifically tells us it's the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. The mark is not a number that identifies people individually. It's a number associated with Antichrist. Those who take the mark take his number. The verses also tell us that the evidence points to computerized data recognition of some sort. Why? Because we're told you cannot buy, sell, or conduct business without the mark. It seems clear that it will be connected to one's personal data and finances. And if you've ever visited a store that doesn't take cash, that's the type of scenario that we're talking about with the mark. We're talking about a time where all stores are cashless and they only take the mark as a method of payment. Cash disappears from society. So even if you find another person who's willing to trade with you, who has the mark or doesn't, you can't move money because all money's digital. Finally, it could be something the mark, that we can't imagine because it doesn't exist yet. Technology is progressing so rapidly at this point, people will be using tech just 10 years from now that we can't even imagine today. Please understand, here's my point. We have to look at everything the word says about the mark of the beast. Just because a program or initiative fulfills one or two of the characteristics of the mark doesn't make it the mark. It must fulfill all of the characteristics.